This research was conducted at the Center for Management Research in Healthcare, directed by Dr. David Diltz at the Knight Cancer Institute, Oregon Health and Science University, and done in collaboration with the National Cancer Institute. So this research was stemmed from two of our previous studies and observations from past efforts. Namely, one, the development of oncology trials were found to be lengthy and laborious process. Specifically, an investigation of phase 3 cooperative group trials were found to consume on median 2.4 years, requiring in excess of 370 steps internally to develop a clinical trial. Furthermore, looking at accrual performance, we find accrual performance, or the number of patient enrollment on a trial. What we find at multiple comprehensive cancer centers, what we found was that the accrual performance was fairly poor. Almost 35% of all trials conducted resulted in 0 patient enrollments at study closure. Therefore, this research bridges the two past studies and uncovers the finding that development time of clinical trials are related to patient enrollment. So for this study, we looked at all therapeutic, non-pediatric clinical trials developed between 2000 and 2007, sponsored by the National Cancer Institute's Cancer Therapy Evaluation Program, which account for more than half of all NCI-sponsored trials conducted in the United States. So in our sample, we looked at 553 phase 1, phase 1-2, phase 2, and phase 3 trials, which enrolled more than 50,000 patients on the trial. Development time was defined from the time from initial CTEP submission of the concept to the time that the trial began enrolling patients. So for our study, the median development time was found to be 15 months. So overall, in our study, we found that 40% of all CTEP-approved non-pediatric therapeutic trials did not achieve the minimum projected accrual. Minimum projected accruals were defined by the investigator of each of the trials at the time of study opening. So looking at specifically at phase 3s, more than 3 out of 5 phase 3 trials did not meet its minimum projected accrual. So this is important because phase 3 trials are the most time-consuming and the priciest of all phases to conduct. So this roughly translates to approximately 17% of all patients in our sample, or more than 8,700 participants, enroll on studies with underperforming accruals. So in an era where patient participation on clinical trials is low, it is critical and ethically imperative to best allocate our patient participants on studies that are most likely to succeed. So when looking at the relationship between the development time and the accrual success, what we find are studies that developed relatively quickly, that is between 9 to 12 months, were statistically significantly more likely to achieve the minimum projected accrual compared to the median sample, median development time of 15 months. So conversely, studies that took the longest time of more than 27 months were statistically significantly less likely to achieve the minimum projected accrual. So for example, in our study, when we looked at phase 3 trials exclusively that took more than 27 months, only 7% of those succeeded in terms of achieving its accrual goals. So one major limitation of the study is that it only investigated a single endpoint of achieving clinical trial success. Trials may satisfy intended objectives and not achieve accrual goals due to a host of reasons. There's a lack of detail available regarding the decision for study closure. Additionally, the studies only included NCI CTEP trials and not trials of pharmaceutical or investigator-initiated trials. So development time is only one potential indicator of predicting poor accruing studies. Identifying factors behind long development time as well as poor accruals must be conducted. Research at the Knight Cancer Institute is currently underway to identify ways to dramatically shorten cancer clinical trials and development time, as well as improve accruals to oncology clinical trials. Long development time not only adversely affects accrual performance, it also discourages new investigators from pursuing clinical trials. Therefore, we must seek out opportunities to leverage efficiency in order to speed up science, as well as encourage continual discovery. Other industries have done this with great success, such as General Electric and Intel. This is often termed clock speed, where organizations improve both the rate and the quality of new products simultaneously. In this case, new products can be akin to clinical trials. So I pose the question, can we change the pace of clinical research to produce faster clock speeds? In my opinion, I believe it's a worthwhile endeavor that we must all pursue. Thank you.